Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estella.
And welcome to
Cafecito
and Crime. So today we will be... Well, how are you doing, sister? First
I'm
of
doing
all,
good.
se me olvidó, güey.
I ate a whole bag of chips on the way here.
A whole bag of chips.
Yeah, I just bought it at the grocery store earlier.
What kind did you get?
Hot. I forgot the brand, but
Yeah.
it's like spicy puffs,
Oh, like churros?
but not Cheetos.
Oh, another brand?
It's another brand. Yeah, there was a coupon for it.
Oh, did you eat too many and it made your stomach hurt?
No, I ate the whole bag.
Like a whole, family size?
Yes.
Holy shit, that's awesome. Good for you.
There goes my
Not
dinner,
really.
Rich. I don't
Yeah,
tener hambre.
for real. Estella, if for anybody that will remember this, Estella eats very, a lot of something, but then
But that's because usually when I'm like this, is because I'm PMSing, right?
Yeah.
So, and then I'm like, but I can't help it.
Yeah.
I have to have it.
And then she's like, I'm still hungry. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm usually the one that eats a lot, pero usually they, like her and my other sister-in-law are always like, ay, ya me llené, I'm full.
Yeah.
Y yo, I'm all like, I'm big girl. I need to eat more. Pero luego de repente, there's a week before where she's like, she eats everything. Well, you haven't asked me, pero me.
Oh, yeah. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm going to tell you that I started my Pokemon Go journey. I'm super, super excited about it because I didn't think I was going to like it this much, but it's really awesome. Last week was Employee Appreciation Day, so my job actually took us to Galveston. To the blue waters of Galveston. And but we went dolphin
Watching. Yeah, you did say that. Yeah, we're
so
going to do that.
we went dolphin watching. Y sí, había un chingo de dolphins. Güey.
Yeah, you did. You
there
showed me
was
the
a lot.
pictures.
Y entonces...
I had never seen... I didn't even know you could do that in Galveston, to be honest.
Me either. Pero the owner of the company, it was her cousin's boat. She basically...
Must be nice.
Yeah, she basically... A todos conocían, todos primos. She acted like she was Mexican like us because she was like, es mi primo. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's my cousin.
That's
oh,
my cousin.
Sorry.
Y entonces, so we went and my coworker me dijo, oh, yeah, I'm playing Pokemon Go with my stepdaughter. And I was like, oh, really? My husband used to play that, pero I hadn't played it. Y luego me acordé, dije, maybe my son will be interested. Y lo ofrecí, pero el güey ya sabes cómo es. He was like, I don't want to play it. I was like, vete a la chingada. So then I was like, you know what? I'm going to try. I'm going to play it. And so I started playing it and I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Y ayer me andaba peleando con la gente en el HEB because they were in my way and I couldn't get the Pokeballs.
I'm like, ma'am, you're supposed to be grocery shopping, not trying to catch your...
Yeah.
So do you stand there y estorbas a la gente? Okay.
No, yo me muevo, güey.
Okay.
I'm a good Poke catcher.
Okay.
Pokeball catcher. Catch them all.
No.
¿Cómo se llama?
Pokemon catcher.
Pokemon catcher. Yeah. Porque yo me muevo. Pero ayer sí, I'm not going to lie, yesterday I had Alex driving around trying to find Pokeballs. Yeah. We went to the park and then we went over there. Yeah.
That's why you never called me to record?
Yeah. Because we were out there catching. Yeah. And then there was one spot that it was at the HEB, right?
Yeah.
Y entonces I was telling you que we got the groceries cuando llegamos, every 10 minutes nos dejaba get them again. Re-up them again, is what I meant to say. Y dude, pues ahí estábamos nomás dándole vuelta. Y Alex, so to tell you guys a little bit backstory, my husband had already played, but a long time ago, and he remembered his password and everything. Me, I would have forgot it forever.
Yeah, for sure.
Because yo no me acuerdo de nada.
I mean, I'm just so used to my phone saving everything.
Yeah. The same. Entonces, next thing you know, I was like, oh my God, is he gonna... So he got in and he was showing me all his Pokemons and all this shit. It was cool. So yeah, now I have 3 friends on Pokemon Go.
Besides your husband? Your coworker?
My coworker and my nephew.
Okay.
That's it.
I mean, do you need more people?
No, pero it was cool to have any friends.
Okay.
So yeah. And I told Stella, please download it for when she goes out of town. You imagine the fucking Pokemon she'll get overseas and shit. That would be so fucking cool. But then we're going to Disney next week.
How come you don't go to Discovery Green?
I probably... Dude, Discovery Green would be crazy.
Yeah.
It would be crazy.
Space Center?
Space Center, todo eso. Because
the zoo?
Anywhere where you walk around is where you can get a lot of them.
Yeah.
So then when I went to, we're going to go to Disney next week. And so I told my husband, ¿Cómo se va a ver cuando lleguemos? And my husband's like, dude, we're not even going to know what the fuck to do because todo Disney is just crazy. Big. And, y luego caminando y todo eso. So yeah. But that's another news. We're going to Disneyland next week. I'm excited.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah. First of all, I love me some California.
Yeah, you do.
If I wasn't a Texan, I would be a Californian. Pero I'm a good Texan. So pero
there are good Texans, FYI, just saying,
Yeah, Texas is amazing. Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We are.
I mean, at least me, personally, and you.
Yo también.
Yeah, that's it. That's all that matters. So anyway, what do you have for us today, Cisterna?
For today's case, we're going to Cordova, Tennessee.
Cordova.
Yes.
Fun fact. When I went to high school in Carrollton, Texas, I lived on a street called Cordova.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's why you said fun fact.
Fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we're going to Cordova, Tennessee.
Cordova,
Tennessee.
Cordova.
Oh, this is in inglés.
Sí, pues.
Fine. In Cordova, Tennessee.
Yes.
If you'd like to come with us to Cordova, Tennessee, go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started. The fun, random, interesting facts.
Oh, more than one?
Sí, more than one. Are that the town, it was originally a farming village that was founded in 1835 with fewer than a dozen farms.
Okay.
And it went through multiple name changes. Mm-hmm. The first being Allentown.
Okay.
Then Marysville.
Were these people that live there?
And then Dexter.
What?
It was in the year 1900 that the name was changed to Cordova, so it wouldn't be confused with another town also named Dexter that was located in the same railroad line. Railroad line. Now, Cordova's motto.
Hello, moto. Not the motto.
Cordova's motto. Why is motto spelled M-O-T-T-O, but you say it motto?
Motto.
Cordova's motto is, quote, farms, flowers, and fellowships.
I like that.
It was renowned for its fresh-cut flowers that were shipped to Memphis.
Wow.
Yeah. I know it's a little bit historical, information, but that's usually what you find when it's like a suburb of a city.
Yeah, I know. I've been there before.
Now, today's case is yikes.
Girl.
Aren't they all, right?
Aren't they all? Yeah.
It's just like, why? And I know we said it before, like, oh, I want your money, or para decir, pues, like, oh, I need to kill my husband because, or my partner for their life insurance policy. Pero when there's, like, no reason, like, you don't even know, like
last week's case, I don't know if you heard it, but go back and listen to it. It was like, there was no reason.
They're all, like, senseless.
Stupid.
And then se ponen, ya que los acachan, están llorando.
No llores. No, es que aguántate.
No, pues sí, cabrón.
Aguante.
So we'll begin today's case with Jimmy Fitzgerald McClain, who was born on October 28th, 1963, in Lundell, Arkansas. Mm-hmm. To parents Charles Henry and Jamela McClain.
Jamela.
The McClains had 8.
Not the Clain. What Clain, girl?
The Mc.
The Clain?
The Mc. Uh-huh. The McClains had 8 children, with Jimmy being the 4th. He graduated from Elaine High School and went to attend the University of Arkansas at Conway, where he received a bachelor's in marketing. And he also attended Strayer University, where he received his MBA in management. Now, friends and family described Jimmy as a good and caring person. He was very intelligent, very athletic.
As always.
Yeah. He was very tall, and he loved basketball. He was on the basketball team at university. And another little fun fact is that one of his teammates, while he was playing in Arkansas, was Scottie Pippen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They were on the same for 2 years. I think from 86 and 87, they were on the basketball team together.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people are old enough that hopefully they listen to us, but Scottie Pippen was big back in the 90s. He was huge.
Yeah. So he played, quote, so hard, according to Dennis Moore, who was an old teammate. He also stated that the coach gave him the nickname, quote, full time, because he was always full speed, full time, all the time.
Just like me.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But on other things,
yeah. On other things, like good things.
Afterward, Jimmy also went on to play basketball professionally for 7.5 years. So his love for the sport eventually led him to take a coaching position at Ridgeway High School, where he worked at the time of today's case. He wasn't just the basketball coach. He also taught business at the school. That wasn't all he did. He was also a writer and had completed his first book and movie script. He also was a contributing writer at the Smarts Cookies Don't Crumble, which is an internet website that teaches children to learn and grow.
Oh, girl, I thought they were making cookies for real.
And again, he was a very caring person and wanted to help in any way that he could, especially in mentoring the youth.
Oh,
that's
awesome.
what he really focused on.
Yeah. Did he have any children?
No, we'll get there.
Okay.
He was also the president of the board of directors of a domestic violence prevention organization in Memphis named Exodus. Mm-hmm. And he was also a man of God. He was very strong in his faith. He was a part-time minister también at the Johnson Street Church of Christ in Benton, Arkansas. So he did
everything.
He did a lot in his life, so much. He was really involved in the community.
That's awesome.
And like I said, in mentoring young people. While he had a successful career, there was one thing that he was yearning for, and that was a family of his own. Like he wanted to get married. He wanted to find,
love and have children and stuff.
In comes Carla Moore, whom he met in the late 1990s. He was over the moon in love with her, and the couple ended up getting married the following summer after they started dating in 2001. Now, Carla had 2 children from a previous relationship, 16-year-old Tiffany and 11-year-old Dwayne. And Jimmy, he never had any kids, but he looked forward to being a father to Carla's children.
So he basically was like, he was ready for that step, but he was like, okay, well, they're here. We're gonna
he loved her.
Wing,
and they were little, when he met them. So todavía eran niños. Well, Tiffany estaba un poquito más grande. She was 16. Pero ya Dwayne, pues tenía 11, he's little. He got along great with them, and they looked up to him as a father. He bonded with Dwayne over sports and eventually enrolled him in basketball camps and that sort of thing. He truly went on to raise those kids as his own. Things were great between Jimmy and Carla, but eventually issues began to arise between the two. 8 years into the marriage, things had deteriorated so much that Carla wanted a divorce, but Jimmy didn't. To Jimmy, they had their issues, but he didn't think that they should separate, according to him, or he thought that, things are not that bad. Pero eventually, the couple ended up separating. So they lived apart, and it was after 4 years of actually being apart that Jimmy finally agreed to officially file for divorce.
Oh, my goodness. He was trying to hold on.
Yeah.
Pobrecito.
So sadly, he would be murdered just 2 weeks, around 2 weeks after he filed for divorce, so officially right from
after.
Carla. Yeah. So that brings us to the morning of February 22nd, 2013. I feel like we've been making a lot of, we've been doing a lot of cases that are from the 2013s, 2012s, 2010s.
Right? Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Now, the Shelby County Sheriff's Department received a call from the principal at Ridgeway High School. He wanted a welfare check made to the home of a teacher who hadn't shown up for work, Jimmy McClain.
Okay. Which wasn't probably like him. He would probably loved his job.
Yeah. It was the second day that he had been absent and they hadn't been able to get a hold of him.
Oh, shit.
This type of behavior, like you just said, was so unlike him. And he was always just punctual. And when he didn't show up, they began to worry. So a couple of deputies, and this reminds me of your case from last week, exactly. A couple of deputies arrived at Jimmy's home just after 9:50 in the morning. As they began to survey the outside of the home, they noticed that nothing seemed suspicious. All the doors and windows were locked, but there were 2 vehicles in the garage. So it seemed like somebody
was home. Yeah.
Right. They knocked and there was no answer. Then they walked to the back of the door, and one of the deputies, que a veces unas puertas, like you have your little side windows next to your door.
Yeah.
And he looked through one of the side windows que estaban cerca de la back door. And then when he noticed what looked like a shell casing on the floor.
Oh, crap.
And next to the couch. Porque through the back door, you could see into the living room space. So then obviously they forced themselves into the home where they saw a male on the floor in a pool of blood with multiple shell casings around him. And he was obviously deceased.
Oh, no.
Homicide detectives arrived quickly at the scene, and they noted that the male that was, on the floor appeared to have been shot multiple times. So the victim did have his wallet on him, which contained his ID, and it was confirmed that it was the body of 49-year-old Jimmy McClain.
Oh, my God. He was so young.
Yeah. 49. So as I mentioned, there were numerous show casings around the home, 10 in total.
Okay.
And they all appeared to be from a .40 caliber gun, but different brands.
Okay.
So detectives were wondering if maybe it was two shooters. So there was no murder weapon found at the scene, but investigators did find other clues. There were muddy footprints in the foyer area, as if like coming into the house. And investigators quickly ruled out that they belonged to any of the officers. So it didn't belong to any of their officers. I'm sorry, I think that's what I was trying to say. Mm-hmm. So they were able to lift those prints and hope to identify the shoe and the size, and, hoping that it would obviously point them in some sort of direction. They
were muddy, but was it raining or was it something that they were just...
they were just mud. I don't know if it was raining or not, or a lo mejor nomás estaba mojado el zacate or something.
Okay.
Now, they also, of course, dusted the scene for fingerprints and such. So after surveying the scene, they noted that there was no forced entry and all the doors were locked. Things were not in any type of disarray and nothing seemed to be missing. So a robbery was quickly ruled out because even Jimmy, he had his wallet.
You were about to say, I was about to say, like tenía sus cosas el señor. So I mean, it wasn't like he was missing anything or things were like they were looking for stuff, you know?
Yes. So since all the doors were locked, they started kind of piecing it together that it was possible that whoever had done this had a key to the home.
Yeah, and then they locked themselves behind them.
Yeah, they locked the door. Yeah, exactly. And that they must have known Jimmy. Now, his autopsy was performed by forensic pathologist Dr. Erica Curry, and she concluded that his cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds. He had 13 distant gunshot wounds to the head and torso.
Oh, shit.
He was shot in the back of the head, both sides of the neck, in the shoulder, the back, and twice in the face, with one of the bullets having lodged in his chin.
Girl, like, why so many times?
He didn't have any defensive wounds on his hands, so it seemed like he was caught off
guard. Yeah.
Which obviously it meant that there was no struggle. He didn't, it was determined that Jimmy had been dead for over 24 hours by the time that his body had been found. Now, as the investigation began, detectives learned that on the night of February 20th, 2013, so 2 days before, a neighbor of Jimmy's, Ronald Nelson, called the Shelby County Sheriff's Department non-emergency number at around 8:50 p.m. to inform them that he heard 6 gunshot wounds about 10 minutes earlier. Mm-hmm. The deputy who was dispatched, Corey Warren, patrolled the gated neighborhood and didn't see anything suspicious. So this time frame led them to believe that...
That's around the time he passed away.
Right, that he was killed,
okay.
Yes. So,
I mean, sometimes we're like, man, the people on the ring app que de veras joden que it was that gunshot was that, pero I mean, sometimes it's a good thing,
I'm telling you, that like people post everything like right away.
Yeah,
it's like totally random. And I remember somebody put, there's somebody's cow is out.
Not the cow.
Somebody's cow is out over there by this sign. Like this by this neighborhood or whatever, this street.
No, but I mean, if you're looking for your cow, like for real, it helps. But
because my cousin, she has land and she has cows, and I know they jump like into the next property over, right? Or her goats jump into.
No, the goats always jump out. But what I'm saying is like it's important for us to actually don't ever think that it's not important to report those things. You know?
Or a lot of people think, well, I'm sure if I heard it, other people heard it, and they've already probably called it in or something,
And the thing is, it happens all the time, and people are always like for example, for the hurricane, like we didn't have any signal, but for some reason the ring always worked. So like everybody was like, hey, is there light over here? Is there light over there?
Does anybody have water?
Does anybody have water? And that's how a lot of the things that we would know. Okay, when we had to evacuate because it was hot as balls, and so then we were like, okay, now it seems like we have light there, or there might be coming, or there might be light here, or anybody was like, hey, where's their food? Right. So a lot of the times it's important for us to report those things.
Yes. Especially because they lived in it was a gated neighborhood.
Community. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So.
Yeah, I was going to ask because, I mean, if he was, I mean, he probably had a pretty, not that that his house wasn't, but he probably had a pretty nice house, you know.
But and then for himself, but he was very successful. So, So Easter, Jimmy's sister, showed up at the home while the detectives were still on the scene, and they informed her that obviously her brother had been killed. They asked her and her mom, Jamela, if they were able to go downtown to speak to them, and obviously they obliged. So Easter gave them information about her brother, such as his recent separation or, official divorce from his soon-to-be ex-wife, Carla. So this led investigators to question if maybe that had anything to do with Jimmy's murder. They quickly reached out to Carla and asked to speak to her and her 2 children. In her interview, Carla stated that, yes, she and Jimmy were going through a divorce, but it wasn't because anyone did anything bad to the other. They just fell out of love. She added that Jimmy had been a great father to her kids and treated them as his own. And their issues began as the kids grew into their teens and they didn't have the same parenting style.
Okay.
And they began to clash. According to Carla, Jimmy was was very discipline oriented. And she was a little bit more laid back. So cuando había problemas, she always, took her kid's side.
Well, and because that wasn't their father.
And
so that probably made a big difference.
And she didn't feel comfortable, letting him discipline her kids. When she was like, whatever issue had occurred, she was on their side,
Yeah, no, and I'm pretty sure that that's something that a lot of people go through. As in a blended marriage, whenever there's a stepfather or stepmother, and it must be difficult, for, hey, don't say that to my son. Like, I'd rather be alone than do that because, I come from divorced parents, and I know how bad it is, because then you're like in the middle of it too, So I'm pretty sure that they had some
issues.
Yeah.
So that's some of the things that caused them to grow apart. Now, investigators asked her directly if she stood to gain anything from Jimmy's death. And she was very upfront and told them that she did have a life insurance policy through her employer and Jimmy was on the policy. So as we've heard many, many, many times before, that is a common motive to kill a spouse or have a spouse killed.
Yeah, because money is the root of all evil.
But was this the case in Jimmy's murder? So next, they had to find out if she had a key to the house. They asked her, and she said no, not that she remembered. So finally, they proceeded to ask her where she was on the night of the murder. And she said that she was at home. The weather was bad that night. It was raining hard. So she stayed in and read a book. And she stated that her son could corroborate her alibi since he was also home. So I guess that plays into the muddy shirt prints because she said that night it was raining bad. That just clicked to me right now. Investigators then brought in 19-year-old Dwayne. He stated that he was home when his mom got home from work, and that night he just chilled at home in his room using his mom's phone since he didn't have his own cell phone. They didn't see much of each other since he was upstairs in his room y ella estaba downstairs in her room.
But he knew that she was home.
Right, and he was using her cell phone, So when asked about his relationship with Jimmy, he said that Jimmy was cool and but that they bumped heads a lot. And he also described Jimmy as a fun-loving person and couldn't believe, that somebody had done that to him or, had killed him that way. So up next was Tiffany, who was, at this point, Dwayne was 19 and she was 24. And in her interview, investigators sensed some tension coming from her. Like Dwayne, she also stated that she tended to bump heads with Jimmy, but in their situation, it got so bad between them that she ended up moving out. Like, that's the reason why she moved out. So when asked where she was at the time of the murder, she said that she was at home with her boyfriend all of Wednesday evening. To definitely confirm their alibis, detectives asked Carla and Tiffany for their phones to obviously ping their locations on the night of February 20th. In the meantime, detectives turned to Jimmy's friends and colleagues to find any information and possibly who had a key to his home, to his house. Everyone they talked to loved Jimmy, the teachers, the coaches, and the principal. He was the one that
called in that he was missing. Yeah.
Right. So no one had anything bad to say about him, and no one had a key to the house.
But how is it that his wife said that she didn't remember if she had a key?
Right.
Like,
maybe from when they were together?
But like, that's a kind of an odd way to answer, no? Like, I don't remember. Yeah, I remember pretty much.
And she made sure to add in, not that I remember.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's weird to me, because it's like, if I was to know, oh, do you have a key to, like, your house?
Your ex-spouse.
Or your ex-spouse. No, just anybody's key. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I have a key of your house. I have a key to my dad's house, or I have a key to your mom's house, whatever it is. But I remember that shit, because if I need it, I'm going to remember I have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not going to just be like, not that I remember. Like, what the fuck? No.
It was like, it was a weird
way to answer. Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't know. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Now, 3 days into the investigation, detectives finally get a hold of Jimmy's phone. Like, they get it back from forensics.
Like, from checking, like, the backgrounds and stuff.
And they checked to see who he was texting before he was killed. It was a woman. And they were talking about some sort of directions. And then, like, the final text ended up being good night. So the last text was around the same time that the call for that when the shots were fired were called in by his neighbor.
Oh, okay.
So, like, the timeline.
Like 8:30, dijo el señor.
Yeah, like 8:50, 8:40. So está cuadrando, right? Now, the woman's name was Pam Smith. And it wasn't a name that they had come across until that moment. Investigators contacted her via phone, like they gave her a phone call, and they identified themselves and asked her if she knew Jimmy. Y ella les dijo que sí, that he was her boyfriend.
Oh, so he had a woman.
They proceeded to let her know that he had been murdered. And they obviously paid close attention to her reaction, or what her reaction was going to be. And she was extremely distraught and offered up to help in any way that she could.
So she didn't even know.
No.
Pero how many days had passed?
3 days into the investigation.
But if that's your boyfriend and you're not looking for him?
So 5, because Thursday, the 20th, lo encontraron el viernes, and then this was 3 days until after they got his phone back from forensics.
That's kind of awkward. Because if you're somebody's boyfriend, y'all dating or whatever, like, you're going to check on them. If it's been 5 days and nobody's heard from you, like, let me call, see what's up. Maybe that's how their relationship was. Not me.
No, not you.
Not me. Because I'll be like, where the fuck are you?
Oh, when your husband goes out of town?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because I need to make sure that I know where he's at.
Oh, well, you have his location.
I have his location. But that's what I'm saying. But
yeah. This was 2013, so it's not like you
didn't have locations. But what I'm saying is, like, dude, you're just going to let time pass and you're not going to look for him? That's kind of awkward.
Now, they met with her in person to learn more information about her. And Pam tells investigators that she and Jimmy met through church and had been dating for 6 months at the time of his death. She lived in Nashville. Oh. Yeah. Which was just over 3 hours away from Cordova.
Okay.
So the couple saw each other 1 to 3 times a month. But they talked to each other several times a day. So including each morning before work and each night at bedtime.
Yeah. So ella no se le ocurrió maybe hablar.
Maybe she did and she just didn't get any answer.
Maybe.
Yeah. So after more questioning, it appeared that their relationship seemed like a regular healthy relationship. And it, like, Pam, she didn't have like an ex-husband. Like, she wasn't still currently married. She didn't have like an ex-boyfriend or anything like that.
She was single and ready to mingle.
Yes. Which, that kind of somewhat ruled her out, because they initially thought that maybe if she did have something to do with his death, her having like a previous relationship that was messy could have been a possible motive, So when asked where she was the night of the 20th, she stated that she was at home in Nashville and turned her phone over to investigators so they could verify her location and corroborate her alibi. Lastly, she asked if she had a key to Jimmy's house. She said no, but she said she knew who did.
Oh.
According to Pam, about a month earlier, she overheard a phone call between Jimmy and Carla, where he was telling her that she could come by to the house while he was gone to pick up a package that had been delivered for her. Pam and Jimmy were on their way out of town, and the package wasn't left outside or anything like that. It was left inside the house. So when they returned from being out of town, a couple of days later, the package was gone.
Okay.
So this led Pam to believe that Carla had a key.
So she was able to go in and get her package.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Not that she asked or anything. She just kind of put two and two together. Yeah. Okay.
Because she said that there was like an area where he would put mail and stuff like that. So it was like right outside of his bedroom. So I mean, when she passed by, pues el paquete ya no estaba. Okay. So, you know.
Yeah. Pero la otra no se acuerda. No se acuerda la mujer.
Right. Because that's not what she said, like you just mentioned. So what was the truth? Was she lying?
Yeah, exactly. And why?
To know for sure, detectives went back to her phone because they took Carla's phone, right? The data revealed that she went from her job to her home and was home all night, just as she stated. That's same for Tiffany. So Tiffany también igualita. Before either of them were fully ruled out, though, investigators had to confirm that all calls and texts from their phones would match like the full records from the phone company.
And what they were saying, ¿no? Me imagino, como si le estaban diciendo, ella dijo, before we left around this date,
Because, okay, let's say, entregó el phone, pero si tú borras algo de tu cell phone, they're not going to see it. But if you get the company records.
Yeah. Yeah, and then she said that she was at home, but her son said that he really didn't see her, pero ella le dejó el phone a él.
Right.
So why would you?
But she was at home.
But she was at home.
Right.
Yeah.
Cross-referencing the phone data with the phone companies was going to take days, and this would reveal any deleted messages or phone calls from the devices. So Jimmy was buried on March 2nd, so just like a little bit over a week, and it just goes to show how beloved he was by his community and how many lives he touched, because over a couple of thousand people showed up.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Like old teammates.
Pobrecito.
Just, I can't imagine.
Can you imagine? 1,000. Like, we're not talking about
one, two. Like over 2,000 people.
1,000. That's more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000.
That's more followers than we have on Instagram.
Oh, times 2,000.
2,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's crazy. The day after his funeral, the forensic report came back, which noted that Jimmy didn't have any additional DNA on him, nothing under his fingernails, and there was no other DNA found in the home either. But, like, it wasn't all bad news, like, que no regresó nada. Remember the muddy footprint?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, an expert at Nike.
Okay, Nike.
Was able to determine that the shoe print was a Nike Air Force One.
The white one or the black ones?
It's a shoe print, bitch. I don't know.
It makes a difference.
I can't tell you. From
the
a
white
shoe
ones
print?
or the black ones? Yes.
Well, that shoe print is muddy, ho.
Okay, right.
So black?
So black, I guess. From mud? I don't know.
Between the sizes of 10 and 11.
Women's or men's?
I don't know, bitch.
This is a lot of information I need to know.
I'm not a detective.
Okay.
Pero maybe I can send an email to the Nike expert.
Yeah, tell them that I need this information.
I'm sure they have the information because, the case got solved. So,
yeah.
Finally, they had something tangible, like that they could work with. Mm-hmm. But before the lead could be followed up on, the investigation took a weird turn.
Yeah.
So their attention got diverted elsewhere.
That's kind of a weird shoe to wear to go kill somebody. I'm just thinking because Air Force Ones are heavy.
Yeah.
So for you to run, I'm just being
what you're thinking. You're thinking.
Thoughts. I think that's a weird shoe to wear if you're going to go shoot somebody.
So maybe they didn't think that they were going to go shoot somebody?
Maybe. Because I've worn a few sneakers in my day. And I know that an Air Force One is a heavy sneaker. Y cuando te lo pones siempre se te va saliendo. I'm just saying.
I've been the owner of Air Force Ones. También blancos.
Always white. If you wear black ones, no.
Wow. What if somebody that's listening is wearing black Air Force Ones?
You're awesome. That's what I'm trying to say. You are a gangster.
Because you're listening.
Because you're listening. No, but black Air Force Ones, you don't really.
But you mostly
they're rare.
You mostly see white.
Yeah. But my son had black Air Force Ones, and he was bad as fuck. That's what I'm trying to say.
So after Jimmy's murder, a news headline hit about a student at Ridgeway High School. Mm-hmm. A basketball player named Mackenzie Sewell. 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 Had faked his age in paperwork and enrolled himself into school.
What?
To hopefully get a scholarship to play basketball in college.
What the fuck?
I feel like I heard about this.
I do too.
But more recently, not in 2013.
Yeah, no. Way more recent.
Yeah,
no. What the hell? In the same school that
he was his basketball coach.
What the hell? Y luego?
So he was actually not that older. I think he was 2 years. He was 2 years older.
So he was 20.
Like 1920.
1920, yeah.
And so he was like
that's creepy, dude.
That was a legal adult. I think the guy from a couple of years ago, was he like in his 25?
Yeah,
no?
something like that, yeah.
Or in a girl too.
Yeah.
I think you're thinking about the movie Never Been Kissed.
No. The Never Been Kissed girl, I know that. Pero no, I'm talking about, I think I heard that recently, pero it was a person that was, I think it was like in like a volleyball player or something like that. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I don't know much about that. But girl, that's still creepy as fuck.
Yeah. So he was a legal as adult. This 20-year-old man, Mackenzie. Man. Basketball player. Mackenzie Mann. After hearing the news, investigators wondered if maybe it had something to do with Jimmy's murder.
Okay.
Like, could he have found out about Mackenzie, threatened to expose him, and before he was able to do so, he was killed?
They need to check his for one.
Yeah. Detectives reached out and tried to speak to Mackenzie, but he wasn't having any of it, and he immediately lawyered up. So,
but he already had a lot, like he was already wanting to lawyer up because he was like doing shit he wasn't supposed to be doing. So
like pretending to be a teenager.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that he lawyered up.
He already had one on retainer.
Yes, he was like, I kind of already had this one here. Just in case, but I don't think that it was.
Wait, is that... How illegal is that?
I mean, that's kind of creepy. First of all, second of all, you're with children.
Yeah,
and then third of all, you're like falsifying like paperwork, documents, and trying to play basketball, saying you're one age and you're not. So I don't think that that's okay.
No, it's not. But how illegal is it? I'm trying to see. Like, are you going to get fined?
No, I think personally, you get some jail time.
Are you going to go to jail?
Something you have to, but he used his name and his. What about his ID and shit? I don't know. Some people be doing some wild ass shit
just so he could go play college. He could get a scholarship to play college basketball.
But he wanted to play college basketball. But I wonder. But he was already in college. I don't know.
No, he was in high school.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm confused.
Maybe he never went to college, and then he's like, no, you know what? Let me give this a try again. And get a scholarship.
That just doesn't sound right.
Like, people come up with some crazy,
I'm telling you, wild ass shit.
Yeah. Now, they go and talk to the next best person, which is his mom, Mackenzie's mom.
Oh, yeah, Mackenzie's mom. Yeah.
Chandra Nicole. So...
And ask her what the fuck
she was the one that registered him at Ridgeway High School.
Wow. So she knew.
She was an accomplice. Investigators learned from Chandra that she wasn't his mom.
What?
She was his wife.
What the fuck?
And, she was like, I helped falsify the paperwork and I enrolled him.
And I acted like his mom. This is some Never Been Kissed shit right now. Like
with her brother?
With her brother.
That was creepy. That movie was not, that movie, when you like...
Really...
Her brother, wasn't her brother like 23 dating like a 16-year-old?
Yeah, it was not okay. Yeah. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is Mackenzie and his wife.
Who pretended to be his mom.
Yeah, that's some creepy shit.
She also tells him that it wasn't Jimmy who caught on to the scam and that she was the one that alerted the school of the deception.
She probably saw that Mackenzie was getting attention by them girls.
According to her, she did it because she and Mackenzie had gotten into an argument since he began dating a student.
What did I tell you?
At the high school.
I'm I'm fucking smart. Not only am I a Pokemon catcher, I'm a fucking smart.
You're a podcaster, Pokemon catcher.
I'm everything. Mom, dog mom, cat mom, freaking dance mom.
A real mom.
All the moms. What?
And a detective.
And a detective now.
So when she found out, she told the school.
I knew it. She probably was like, no, motherfucker. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this didn't have anything
Nothing
to do with
it.
Jimmy at all. So essentially investigators...
Did they check his Air Force Ones though?
I'm sure they did.
Okay.
Now, but even then, he was lawyered up. So, so he was... Investigators were essentially back to square one with no real leads.
That sucks, man. Especially when somebody is so big in the community.
And especially, I mean, like this seemed like it could have been something because he was his basketball coach, like.
So Jimmy passed away ni supo que este güey tenía como 20 años, güey. That's so crazy. Wild shit right there.
Yeah.
Pobrecito. So this whole time he's like, you can do it, kid. And he's not a kid. He's a grown-ass man.
He's 20.
Oh, my God. That's crazy. That's so fucking wild.
Now, they had no leads until the official phone company records came back for Carla and Tiffany's cell phones.
Dijiste que iba a durar como 2 semanas.
I said days.
Oh, shit. The fuck did I get semanas from? Anyway, okay.
So after many days of reviewing them, investigators caught a break.
Really?
Tiffany's records corroborated her alibi, so she was officially ruled out. But something was off with Carla's. Those records showed that there were texts exchanged with 2 different phone numbers between 6 and 9 p.m., which was in between the hours that, Jimmy was killed. And these have been erased from her cell phone. Investigators learned that one of the numbers belonged to someone named Robert Collins and the other to someone named Heather Feimster.
Okay.
Robert was looked up, and they found out that he was a convicted felon who had gone to jail for dealing drugs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's kind of like a red flag, somebody's kind of...
A little bit, yeah.
Investigators have questions that need to be answered. So Carla was asked to come in for another interview. When they asked her about these texts, she says that they're not hers.
Oh, they're not?
They're her son's, Dwayne.
Oh.
This aligned with what Dwayne had stated at the initial interview, that since he didn't have a cell phone, he used his mom's. Carla went on to state that Robert was Dwayne's friend, and they were close, like they would call each other big brother and little brother, because Robert was older.
Okay.
He was like a little bit older. So they said little bro at Dwayne. And they hung out, but Carla didn't care for Robert. So she never really said any good things about him because decía que Robert was a troublemaker. So no le gustaba que Dwayne se anduviera juntando con él.
Yeah. Pero they never explained why her son didn't have a cell phone? I mean... No. Okay.
As far as Heather went, she was Dwayne's girlfriend. And Carla just stated that she was like a good girl, like nunca tuvo problemas con ella. And she was just,
Pero she had a criminal background too?
No.
No, yeah, no. Okay.
Yeah. Now, Dwayne was also asked to come into the station while his mom was still there. And I mean, obviously he's 19. He doesn't need like an adult or anything like that. No. Uh-huh. He was told that the investigation was kind of, starting fresh again from square one, revisiting old details. And they asked him again about the night of the murder. Again, he stated that he was at home when his mom got there. He had her cell phone and spoke to one of his friends, and then Heather came over. Okay, fine. Heather was then contacted to confirm Dwayne's alibi. And she stated that she did go over that night. And after speaking to her for a little bit longer, they bring up some of the things that were found at the crime scene, such as the muddy footprint of Air Force Ones. And she says, oh, yeah, Dwayne owns some.
Oh.
And he wears a 10.5 in size.
Oh. So it was a men's 10.5. Okay.
Yes.
I was about to say. Okay.
She adds that she remembered seeing them out on the porch that night, cuando fue over, but she hadn't seen them since. She showed investigators even a picture of Dwayne wearing them.
Okay.
He was standing in the kitchen holding an AR-15 wearing the high-top Air Forces.
What? High-top Air Forces? First of all, who the fuck? Anyway.
That's your problem?
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And
Barbie is considered a sneakerhead.
No, I'm not considered a sneakerhead.
Yeah.
But what I'm asking is, now he's standing in the kitchen. She's showing her, and that's the picture that she chose to show the cops?
Because maybe that's the picture where he was wearing the shoes.
And he had a AK-47?
15,
AR. 15? AR-15? Holy shit. Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah. Investigators execute a search warrant for Carla's home.
Oh, shit. I thought you were going to say they executed her. I'm like, why? Like, what did she do? Wait a minute. What's wrong with her?
No. But they don't find the shoes in her house. They do not find anything incriminating at all.
At all. Okay.
At all. The only thing that they ended up leaving with was pictures that they took of his bedroom. That's it. With Dwayne now becoming somewhat of a person of interest or just kind of like in their line of vision, they tried a different approach in trying to link him to what happened to Jimmy. Investigators know that there were text messages exchanged between him and Robert that night. And so there was urgency in needing to know what they were or what they were talking about.
What they were talking about? And they didn't bring Robert in?
The hope was that Robert still had them on his cell phone.
Oh, okay.
So a request for a warrant for his cell phone was submitted. While they waited, they put him under surveillance, Robert, right? So not very long after, he was seen exiting his home. Robert andaba saliendo de su casa. And the police approached him, just to make basic conversation, para just say, hey, blah, blah.
How you doing? My name is so-and-so.
So when they approached him, he took off running.
Why? Oh, my God. No mames.
They, of course, chased him. I'm sorry. It's just that I picture that in my mind. I'm like, you don't even know what they're walking up to you for, and you just start running.
Like, at least wait until they tell you, hey, we're here for so-and-so.
Maybe they're going to ask you, hey, do you know who lives next door or something?
Can you help me with directions or something? And you just take the fuck off running? Like, I don't know. But, I mean, I'm not a criminal, but, maybe since he's a criminal, a mejor he was scared, también. I don't know. I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do. Pero, I mean, that's probably in his mind, like, oh, shit, they're going to come. They're
going to get me.
Get me for something. I don't know what.
So, as he was running, he tossed something, like, to the side. And eventually they ended up catching him. And it appeared that the reason why he took off running was because he had a large amount of narcotics on him.
I was about to say, was it weed? I was thinking in my head it was
narcotics.
Weed. Narcotics, okay.
So even though this had nothing to do with Jimmy, like this arrest.
But now you ran. Now you had drugs on you.
So it was a reason to arrest him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What he ended up tossing at the beginning was a weapon. And investigators initially thought that it was a weapon maybe could have possibly been used in Jimmy's homicide. But as they examined it, they were quickly able to determine that it wasn't the weapon from the scene. Investigators hoped to use this as leverage to get him to speak on Jimmy's murder and cut him some sort of deal. But Robert didn't want to talk about anything.
He asked for a lawyer.
He pretty much just said, put me in prison, I'll do the time.
What time? For what?
For the drugs.
What?
Yeah, he was like, I don't want to talk about nothing else. This guy's murder, I had nothing to do with it. Whatever you caught me for, I'll go to jail. I don't give a fuck. Put me in jail.
What the hell?
Which is weird, right? Usually people trying to get out, they're like, whatever you want to know, cut me the deal. I'll help you. Now with Robert not behind bars, investigators hoped that his cell phone would give them the answers that Robert refused to. But when they began to go through it, they found that he also erased the text.
Shit.
But he hadn't erased everything. On his phone were pictures that they were able to get. The day before Jimmy's murder, Robert had pictures of a handgun that he took a picture of with like a whole bunch of money around it.
Oh, wow.
On a bed.
Okay, so,
pinche tacky and shit.
Yeah. Whatever, dude.
The gun was a .40 caliber Smith & Wesson Sigma, which was the same caliber gun used to kill Jimmy. Mm-hmm. And something else stood out in the picture to investigators. It was the bedspread it was lying on. It was a bedspread in one of the pictures that they got from the search warrant and had been previously deleted. In this particular photo was Dwayne standing at the foot of the bed with the same bedspread.
So whose bed was it?
I think it was Dwayne's.
Dwayne's bed, okay.
Yes, I think. Don't quote me on that. Now, they had a gun, which believed was to have killed Jimmy, which was linked to Dwayne or someone he knew or he was friends with. The question was, who used it? Who killed Jimmy? As I mentioned, Robert was put in jail. During his time there, he made a phone call to a guy, which was the call, of course, being recorded. In it, he said to the guy, he said something along the lines of, quote, hey, man, the pit bull is real sick.
The pit bull?
The pit bull.
Like the dog?
Like the doggy,
okay,
yeah. The other guy on the other side of the phone just seemed confused at shit. He was like,
what?
He kind of like laughed it off. And then he was just saying like, yeah, okay, man. I got you.
I got it.
And Robert,
but you really don't got it.
And Robert more seriously said, no, man, I'm not kidding. You need to get rid of the pit bull. It's sick. I probably shouldn't have sold it to you. Investigators gathered that pit bull was most likely street talk for a gun. And real sick meant that it had a body on it or that it was used to kill someone. So they tracked this person down who Robert had, was talking to. And it was a guy named Jamarius Cooper who lived in the Cordova area.
Okay.
Investigators gathered that the conversation they had meant that the gun possibly used to kill Jimmy wasn't Jamarius' possession.
Yeah.
So they quickly got an emergency search warrant for his home before he could get rid of it. When they got to
Before they got rid of the pit bull?
Yes.
Okay.
When they got to the home, he wasn't there. They actually did ended up searching for like a pit bull, like for reals, to see, if maybe that was the case, pero no había. They started to go through his bedroom and search the places that they thought that the gun could be, and they weren't finding anything until they went through one of the many boxes he had in his closet, which was like 30, and they found it.
Was he moving or something? What the
No.
fuck? He just had boxes?
Boxes como de Amazon or something.
Okay.
Now they had to prove that the gun was used to kill Jimmy, and so they had it processed.
Yeah.
A couple of hours later, they were notified by forensics that it was the gun juiced.
Not juiced.
Used to kill Jimmy.
No mames, not juiced.
With that confirmation, the next step was to talk to Jamarius. But before they could track him down, they received a call from the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office, which was 5 hours away.
Okay.
A deputy notified them that something odd had happened recently. A distraught woman in her pajamas ran into the station, stating that she wanted to let them know of some information.
Where was she in her pajamas?
She just had to go, get it out, tell them this information. She went on to inform them that her husband was upset with his nephew, who had admitted to killing a basketball coach.
Oh, shit.
This woman's husband was Carla's brother and Dwayne's uncle.
Wow.
His name was Donald Page, and he had previous felony convictions for theft and forgery and was currently on parole in Arkansas.
Okay. So the lady que estaba en la...
Que fue corriendo en las pijamas.
Es como quien dice tía de la persona que mató a...
Tía política.
Okay.
Sí. Donald was quickly brought in to speak to investigators, and right away, he had like an attitude. He was like, I don't have anything to say.
Why do these people do this?
So he was reminded that if he...
Let me remind you.
If you withhold information... You're an accessory to murder, bitch.
This is just a small, friendly reminder.
And you're already on parole.
Dude, that's my favorite thing to do. I always give my coworkers that piss me off friendly reminders. I'm like, friendly reminder. Just a friendly reminder.
He quickly changed his tune and stated that Dwayne took him aside and admitted to killing Jimmy McClain.
Oh, my gosh.
He recalled that he and Dwayne went outside and that Dwayne told him that, quote, he looked out for mama.
Okay.
And that he, quote, had to handle his business.
What the hell?
When Donald asked him what he meant, Dwayne told him that Jimmy and his mom, Carla, had been discussing the divorce and that at some point Jimmy, quote, got out of line with his mom and he wasn't going to let anybody disrespect her and talk to her the way that he did.
Okay.
So Donald asked him if he had killed him. And Dwayne responded that he had to stand up for his mom. Y que le estaba dando una mirada como dándole a entender que
sí. Okay.
Now, with the tension already high, like at an all-time high between, the kids, Jimmy and Carla, investigators also believe that it just added on top of the struggles Carla and her children were already facing. And it also contributed to the motive for killing Jimmy. So Carla and her family, or Carla and the kids, were going through financial struggles. And so Dwayne wanted the divorce también to go through so they could sell the house and they could have half of the sale money that they needed. And somehow in his mind, con, the shit already going on, que Jimmy disrespected her mom, he wanted to speed up the process and took matters into his own hands.
By killing him? What the fuck?
Now, Donald agreed to testify against Dwayne.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, he turned quick because he was on parole, girl.
Yeah.
He's like, hell nah. Not me today.
Now, Dwayne was arrested and charged with Jimmy McClain's murder on March 26, 2013.
Pero my question is, did his mom know que había hecho eso?
No.
She didn't know.
No. Like, nobody knew.
Wow. So
No más Robert, pues.
No más él. Robert, porque le dio la gun, me
Sí,
imagino.
and they were talking about it and shit on the text. Well, I'm assuming. I don't know because they were deleted. Pero,
wow.
No, porque le vendió la gun a Jamarius y le dijo, hey, you need to get rid of it. So Robert knew, you know? Now, his bond was set at $2 million.
Wow.
His trial took place 14 months later, and the prosecution presented what they believe happened that night, to the jury. And that was that Dwayne knew he was going to go kill Jimmy in Air Force Ones.
High tops.
And knew where the key was to get inside. So somehow Carla did have a key, pero no se acordaba.
I think that probably what if he had a key outside que le dijo, ahí está la key if you ever need to come inside. Some people leave keys outside their houses.
No, but they were like clashing. So,
That's weird, yeah.
Like they were not getting along.
Pero ¿y cómo él no se acuerda, pero como Dwayne sí se acordaba dónde estaba la key?
No, exactly. A lo mejor se la... That's weird.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's off, pero,
I don't know.
So when Jimmy got home, he waited until Jimmy made it inside and then let himself in. That's why the muddy footprints were in the foyer. Mm-hmm. Because it was like somebody was coming in from the outside. So he pulled out the gun, and as soon as he saw Jimmy, he began to shoot him as he didn't get a chance to go anywhere,
Dices tú que he got shot in the face también,
Now, Dwayne was found guilty of second-degree murder on June 27, 2014, and was sentenced to 22 years in prison without parole. I did read a couple of articles that, or one of them specifically was published in May 13th of 2022, and it stated that Dwayne died in 2021.
What?
And his death was listed as asphyxia by hanging.
Oh, se mató.
And that the manner was suicide. Which, according to Carla, that's not the case. No. Because she said that before he died, Dwayne told her that if they ever told her that he killed himself, not to believe it.
Oh, he was having trouble in jail.
Now, Carla did reach out to the TDOC, Tennessee Department of Corrections, and the U.S. Federal Bureau of Prisons, requesting a written report of the circumstances leading up to her son's death, because she wants more information to see, So I don't know where that ended up. But as far as Jimmy, so to keep his memory alive, his family, specifically his sister Easter, established the Jimmy McClain Endowed Scholarship Fund at the University of Arkansas to assist the youth in pursuing their educational dreams. And that is the tragic case of Jimmy McClain.
I'm like, what? Like nothing, like... I'm like straight up, because I'm like, okay, so he killed them. Now Jimmy is dead. So she's saying that she didn't even know that her son was going to do that. But then it was just like no reason, because they didn't even get nothing out of it.
Like, I guess they just didn't get along, but like. A lot of people don't get along with their
you just let people move on their lives.
They were already separating.
Not only that, pero this is a marriage. Like, this is between his mom and Jimmy. It had nothing to do with him. What was he in between?
And I don't know, like, obviously I didn't know Jimmy like that, and people that knew him had nothing but good things to say about him.
I mean, you never know, because you behind closed doors is todo diferente.
Yeah, and it was just between him and Carla, like you said.
Pero como quiera, I mean, it's like, yo entiendo what you're saying, and that he might have talked to her crazy or whatever, but like, once again, this isn't, as long as he didn't put their hands on each other. I mean, porque we talk crazy, my husband and I be talking crazy like we're about to kill each other, y luego 5 minutes later we're like, oh, I love you too. Like, that's just the way we talk to each other, and maybe he wasn't used to it, or maybe he just didn't care, or I don't know. I think that that's crazy.
Yeah, and that there actually was like a lot of tension with the kids and Jimmy, and I mean, obviously it caused the separation.
It caused the separation, and then also eventually the divorce. And now it seemed like he was moving on, but Carla,
he was dating Pam, and Carla might have been moving on too, but they just financially they were struggling, so they needed the sale of the house. So
Maybe he was like, maybe if we, I don't know. Like, I don't know what went through his mind at that moment.
And you think you were going to get caught? Like, this was like real detective. Like, I like seeing when there's like actual detective work that, they work leads,
and then the whole thing
the phone records. I mean,
they went by and
todo lo de Mackenzie, that was weird as shit también.
Dude, what the fuck? That's what I'm saying. Like, and then like, the girlfriend was like, I've seen those shoes. Like I saw
Here's the
them
picture.
and they were, and here's a picture and he's standing there with the fucking gun. And, you know, and then the picture had, it like you said, it was beautiful detective work, pero it was unnecessary.
Yeah. Like,
unnecessary.
And it's crazy.
Yeah.
I know we say it all the time that, you know, things like this happen for no reason. But
no reason. But let us know what you think. If you would like to follow us on Instagram and maybe get us to 5,000 followers, you can follow us at
Cafecito and Crime Pod. And if you would like to download our episodes, rate us and or leave us a review, we would greatly appreciate it. You can listen to us anywhere that you listen to podcasts, and now including YouTube audio only.
All right. Well, let us know what you think, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.